Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Malik.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
What?
Malik, you're also saying good morning for the rest of us.
What?
I love your energy this morning. How's everything?
Oh, by God's grace, some of us are fine.
Yeah, the long weekend was good.
All of us are fine.
Yeah.
Both of us are fine.
All of us.
Yeah, including you.
Yes, including. Okay, let's do the front page.
Now, the final is reporting this morning. Support one district, one factory. Dr. KK Sapon appeals to KUST alumni and CBG. Post profit in less than 1 year in operation. We're talking about the Consolidated Bank Ghana. And it has Daniel Wilson Aldo on the front page of that particular paper. West Blue Consulting initiates the E-Anansi Library project and IPPs to make input into government policy formulation. This, according to Tobe Afede. Those are the stories on the front page of the final this morning.
The Chronicle newspaper has Juju fails police killer as bullets pierce arms, stomach, rape others. Wives of Pride of the North, others arrested. GPHA driver on the radar of CID, and we remember this story. Let's reject trivialization of our past. Guess who's saying that? President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Last story on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper is an editorial, and the headline is, "We have excess power, yet our streets are not well lit. Why?"
Now, the graphic business may answer the question, but in a very different form. There's a demand on the front page of the graphic business. It says, "We need SMEs bank." AGI advocates ahead of graphic business Stanbic Bank Forum, and that is this morning at 9 a.m. Right. All right. So
and
also
that will be live on your Super Morning show.
Very much so. Now, also on the front page of the paper, adopt common standards to boost trade in ECOWAS. There's also one about only patient capital can grow SMEs. There's a consultant with the IFC who is making that particular point. So now, Daniel, Ghana is hosting a Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, what happens? That's the question that will be answered in the graphic business, and later I'll be giving you details of that.
All right.
The Daily the Daily Guide newspaper has, "We will reject police DNA, dead girls," and dead girls is in quotes. Families cry out. PDS fights back. Police killer for court today. NDC MP aspirant dies suddenly, and Tamale interchange project stars. Back page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Fireworks herald first of Fury final, and Team Ghana pitch camp in Cape ahead of African Games.
Don't you mean Fist of Fury?
What's it? Yeah, Fist of Fury. What did I say? First. Ah, okay.
Okay, now the new Crusading Guard has on its front page, Mendacity, August 4, cannot be found this day.
Who's speaking this plenty English?
That's the CPP.
Do you mean Raymond Napa?
No, it's CPP. It's the people's CPP.
who from the CPP is that?
It's Kabila. Kabila Bonfe. Okay,
Kabila Bonfe.
Yes, that's on the front page of the paper with drama in Ashanti Regional MPP swords against Gifty and Doma fail as battle for NPP seat heats up. There's one about a U.S. senator who's commending Oko Vanderpoy for delivering strong political service. Yeah. And that.
Oh, okay.
Does it sound strange to you? It is the U.S. senator that's saying it. It's not
no. The only thing that sounds strange is that the collar is not. We can't fish in it.
But
it was a promise that we could fish.
This is the same Oko Vanderpoy who was the best mayor in Africa.
Oh, I mean, clearly.
Who's the best mayor in Africa?
You don't believe that.
Me, I saw the billboard.
We saw it on billboards.
But
we are the people of this city.
Holding the
award. You are saying we didn't live it.
But which other city will be best mayor for anyway? That's on the front page of the new Crusading Guard. But West Blue rolls out the E-Anansi project is also here. There's one about Hope Sadoye. He's going for Pong Katamanso NPP seat and trying to make sure that he gets
to challenge Lion.
Yes. It will be interesting to know how that happens anyway.
The Economy Times has energy experts caution government on take and pay. That comes with a photograph of Alex Mould. He doesn't look too happy in this photograph. Revenue shortfall threatens fiscal consolidation process. $12.2 million premium paid by PDS for ECG takeover gone missing.
Now, let me move on to the BNFT, and it's reporting this morning that increased access to finance tech and market to grow agri sector. Now, admission blues would happen next year. Do you know why? You know, some 175,000 students could not pass this year. Obviously, will not make it to the top universities in the country, but the 175,000 will have to fight with the 400,000 from the first batch of the free SHS next year to compete for the same space. Now, you couldn't compete in your year. The incoming year, you have to go and write an deck or how they call it now. That has changed. Yes, and hopefully you pass better than you did before. Yes, so if you pass better, you are going to face the free SHS people. It will be a lot of it will be a tough feature for the
you start praying. I mean.
Anyway, that's on the front page of the BNFT this morning.
The Daily Statesman newspaper has recognized collective efforts of our forebears. Ekufadu urges Ghanaians work begins on historic Tamale interchange, and Accra Traffic Management Center commissioned to ease traffic. So we're going to have a traffic management center. And the purpose of this traffic management center, which has been commissioned, is to ease traffic.
By when?
In the capital.
By when? They should tell us 6 months, 3 months, one, like, so that we know. And east traffic where? Give Paru.
At least I have to answer the question.
I know Malik doesn't manage traffic, but I know that is what is missing in the story.
Yeah.
The MTTD people, it would seem, have not been able to resolve it. So we need a different center to deal with it. Are you done with your papers?
The very last one before me is the Ghanaian Times, and it's reported this one: President assents new Companies Act, and there's one on the front page about government shutting down manganese company for non-payment of taxes, and MDCEs urged to sensitize communities against swimming in water bodies. They say it is dangerous. You contract diseases you are not supposed to contract in the process. So waterborne disease can also get into your system.
Okay.
Yes, when you swim in the water bodies.
So guys, should we take the Taddy girls first, or this Juju feels police?
No, let me do this.
Before the headlines,
Raymond talked about the manganese company. That story is also on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper about the shutdown.
Oh.
But other stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. IT firm enhances reading through e-libraries. Wayomi is in the news again. This time, he's filing for a stay of execution of the Supreme Court order, saying that his properties should be auctioned for the $47 million to be recouped.
Charlie.
Other stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic: unraveling mystery of 3 missing girls. Forensic experts arrive in Tadi. Takrady port expansion takes off. Graphic condemns attack on reporter. Back page of the Daily Graphic: Ghana, South Korea sign agreement on rice production, and NGO donates tricycle ambulances to health facilities in 4 districts.
Okay, we can do the details here, but I hear number one is still in the cooler.
Yeah, but
now 1 billion is not a small amount.
200 million, about $200 million.
Yeah.
So he hasn't, and you see, just to,
the amount we dropped for the chamber now.
Let's just educate the public quickly on this. If you want to, if you have been granted bail to $200 million, what it means is that you have to present properties amounting to that.
Usually, when the bail conditions are being set, they will tell you that, okay, this is a bail bond. You have 2 sureties or 3 sureties or any number of sureties, and some of the sureties are to be justified. That means that whatever property that they say they have, which can, or whatever money that they have, that can amount to the bail bond that has been posted, they have to prove it. So, for example, if you say you have land, and if you were to sell that land, or you have property, or you have a ship, or you have any other property that you can sell to raise that amount of money, you have to provide proof in court that indeed you have that amount. That property will be valued by an independent valuer. And if the valuation is done and it confirms that this property is actually valued at the amount, or all of the properties that you are producing, when you value them together, they can amount to the bail bond. Then we say that you can stand surety for the person. That means that if the person jumps bail, the court can come to you and say, well, these properties, you said you were surrendering them to the court as surety to guarantee this person being produced in court. The person has jumped bail. We're going to auction them. So that's basically how it works.
So what number one is unable to do now is produce properties amounting to $200 million.
I thought that there was a music producer who said that he's richer than $200 million.
Is it a
when the
music
matters.
producer?
Or
Is he a music producer?
No, there was a music producer who said
It's a
that
music producer who said that he's right, but the music producer should bring the money.
Yeah, so I was suggesting that his friends, the likes of Shatawale and Co, they could equally put together their meager resources and make sure that.
Who said Shatawale's resources are bigger?
Oh, really?
I just
Obviously, it's not up to the 200 million.
I'm expecting
Clearly,
a song from Shatawale to respond to you saying that his resources are meager.
I just saw a tweet from Budweiser to him saying that they want to do a collabo. So he should have some resources.
and it's up to 200 million.
So anyway,
let's
let's choose from the stories. Juju fails to kill or DNA from a Taddy girl.
let's do the DNA from the Taddy
Okay.
girl. So you know that after the body parts were found by the police in a septic tank in a part of Takrady that I won't dare mention, since you are here, you will do that. So DNA is being ordered to confirm whether or not these parts are those of the 3 missing girls.
Okay.
Now, members of the families of the 3 missing girls are certain conditions under which they will avail themselves for the processes to take place. That is, for samples to be taken, for the DNA testing to be done. Now, the person speaking here is Linda Kwesing, and we know that Linda Kwesing is an elder sister of Ruth Love Kwesing, one of the missing girls. And she is saying that as far as that family is concerned, the only condition under which they will cooperate with the police is when an independent doctor is appointed by them. And that independent doctor is present when the tests are being undertaken. It is the only condition under which they will submit themselves to the processes.
Okay.
Remember that the father of another of the girls earlier complained, and this was in the news, that he will not submit himself for any samples to be taken for the DNA, for purposes of the DNA. But Linda is saying, as far as they are concerned, they will participate only if an independent doctor, that they want to be able to trust the results that will come out of any test that the police are conducting and the forensic, the DNA testers are going to conduct. They want to be sure that whoever is there can testify that this is exactly what is there. He said, on our part, we have not said anywhere, and I'm quoting Linda Kwesing here, elder sister of Ruth Love Kwesing. We have not said anywhere that we will not avail ourselves for the said test. However, the family of the 3 missing girls have resolved, the families have resolved that we should be allowed to get an independent doctor present during the said test. And we know that Samuel Wales is the key suspect in this matter. According to the reports, he is the one who actually led the police to this area because he used to live in the area. This is an uncompleted building. The septic tank of this uncompleted building is where these body parts were retrieved, and he was the one who led them. This is the first time that he's led the police to uncover something of significance as part of the investigations. In times past, he has led them to places that have not yielded anything. Note that when they first arrested him and granted him bail, he jumped bail, but was re-arrested, and then he was prosecuted and sentenced for jumping bail. He's now standing trial for allegedly playing roles in the kidnapping of these girls.
Now, remember, Madam Comfort Ahin has said that in December last year, she spoke to her daughter when the kidnappers contacted them, and she also spoke to the pastor of their church. So she's actually refusing to believe that her daughter has passed away.
Absolutely. No, I think that, in fact, the authorities themselves caution that no one should run into any hasty conclusions that these body parts that have been found by the police indeed are body parts of the girls. And you can understand why the families would want to keep hope alive, given that these parts are inconclusive pending the DNA tests that the authorities are going to conduct.
Okay. And it's a story that we are looking at today as well on the Super Morning Show. So we'll have a bit more time for that. But let's go to the NMC now, where our good friend...
Oh, I thought I would just do this juju man whose juju didn't work for him. Okay.
Yeah, so let's do the NMC.
Now, he promised last week that he was going to give some more detailed account of what really happened at the NMC. And this is what he titled, Don't Destroy the National Media Commission. In fact, he proceeds by saying it is public knowledge that even the dumbest of citizens have become aware of the essential hard, cold facts of the case the NMC's complaint panel ruled on last week. He proceeds also to say that no truth-seeking citizen believes that sham of a ruling. That was a farcical piece by someone who sounded as though he never sat in the 5 months hearing by the about 6-member panel, and one who didn't bother. That piece would embarrass and damage the reputation of an important constitutional body set up to promote media freedoms. Basically, let's go to the specific issues he raised. He says, yes, second, there was no issue of a purported apology in any of the documents filed by either party, and same was never raised during the hearing. So who smuggled that into the report of the NMC? And it says the objection to the chairman presiding over the case was not only because it is the first time a representative of the president is chairing the NMC, but also that when he lost the bid, a party man not sworn as a member of the NMC ran into the first meeting to cast the winning vote. A critical point was the fact that he was going to sit in judgment of a journalist who had written to criticize him as a partisan politician, doubling as a fair-minded media practitioner. Now, moving on, he also makes the point that was not controverted documentary evidence supplied with the leader of the group, stating the group formed in 2009 is made up of energetic male and female MPP members across the country whose primary target is to protect the MPP members and ballot boxes in elections. Yes, he actually responds in the affirmative. There's one more thing that I need to bring your attention before we move on. Why seek to rely on government's rejoinder when you dismiss a preliminary objection raised to the effect that once government issued a rejoinder and same was published pursuant to the constitutional obligation, it was not entitled to turn same rejoinder into a complaint? You promised to give reasons for rejecting that objection but failed to keep that particular promise. We argued, as is the law, that a government cannot raise a complaint that has been defamed. A chairman of a legal entity kept telling us, you don't do law at the complaints committee, only to issue a ruling or report referring to hard and soft law. Clearly, this was not a case of government serving the citizens or the NMC panel serving the public interest. Sometimes it may just be okay to leave people to their conscience and to God. That is basically what the point is being made in here. And of course, you know the history about this particular documentary, the militia documentary, and how the government of the Republic of Ghana, through the information minister and represented by the deputy attorney general, went to the NMC to seek some basic demands from them on this one. And this is the man who represented the multimedia group in this particular end.
Represented Joy News.
Yes, in this particular end, and specifically made the point about what the ends and their response and what people ought to know about the facts of this case supposed to be.
But I think
you should read the true one. It is at page 16 of the Finder.
Yeah,
I know it's on my Joy Online
too.
Yes,
it is on my Joy Online.
But it's at page 16, full page. Read every single line of it.
If you don't have internet to go on Majo Online, you read this one. But go on your smartphone and go on Majo Online. The article is there.
Just read the thing.
There's a photograph of a gentleman. He looks like he's been strapped in a suicide bomb. And this is a guy who is a self-styled pride of the North. He's a fetish priest. He's Ishaku Yakub Kambona. He's 35. He is the key suspect in the shooting and killing of a police officer, Corporal Agatha Nana Nabing. You know that when this thing happened, the Inspector General of Police, the acting IGP, James Opombenu, went to the area and promised that the police's might will be brought to bear to find the killer. Now, police intelligence led to the shrine of this Isaac Yakubu, and then he opened fire on the police. According to the report by the Chronicle newspaper, the police opened fire and then he was shot. All his amulets, this is a gentleman who has been advertised. In fact, the Chronicle says that he's a known advertiser of bulletproof amulets and talismans. And yet, when they shot him, the guns just the bullets pierced every part of him. And he's currently on admission. The Chronicle reports that he opened his eyes a few days ago and closed them again as if his deities have deserted him. So that's the story. He is one of the suspects in the unfortunate killing of a police officer at a barrier in the northern region.
Now, let me bring you this story about the president finally assenting to the Companies Act. You know that there's a new one that is being put together. It started in 2018. Finally, we have the president having to say this law comes into full operation right away. There are two things you should know about this particular law. The old one is from 1963. And we've been running our company's
179.
Yes, with a law as far back as 1963. Anyway, but the interesting part is that what the new deal in this is pretty clear. Company registration and regulation. Two important things. This is not only because consistently the ease of doing business has complained about what it takes to register companies in Ghana and the requirement for doing so. And also the reason why it takes a very long time and a very laborious process. In fact, countries like Rwanda, you might take a few hours at home to do full-time registration of any company and make sure that it is actually done and is up there doing the work that it ought to do. That's the kind of efficiency that we are required in this particular new system. Now, with the new system that we're going to run, there will be a register for companies, which is different from the General Registrar General's office, which is doing marriages, which is doing other things. And if you go there to that office today, the place is heavily, I've been there a couple of times, but it's been there, or virtually every time it is heavily choked with people. They hardly get a chance to operate the way they ought to operate. But by separating companies registration, we are seeking to make sure that that is done faster and done with the laws, making sure that people don't impersonate other people. I hope that we're able to pierce the process anyway.
All right, guys, let's go online now in the online news review. It's brought to you by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and GOIL Good Energy. Make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from GOIL, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. GOIL Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you are guaranteed extra quality with our fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of GOIL's over 360 service stations and experience Good Energy. Buy GOIL, grow Ghana. GOIL, Good Energy. GOIL, Yenara Yedia. Now at Zenith Bank, helping you save time is our priority. Enjoy 3 great instant services at any Zenith Bank branch nationwide, as well as at our Ho and Winneba agencies. Number 1, instant issuance of Visa and MasterCard debit and prepaid card. Number 2, instant replacement of Visa credit cards. Number 3, instant self-generated electronic pins, that is e-pins for instantly issued cards. Make the smart choice. Think speed, think Zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interests. The Public Utilities Workers Union has jumped to the defense of the power distribution services. Do you remember how POO was against the concessionary agreements pre-26?
Yeah, they did demonstrations ahead of that.
Now, POO is faulting governments for suspending the PDS deal. They said that, couldn't we have taken our time and made sure that if a guarantee has been provided by the PDS is defective, can we give PDS time to rectify? Is it a possibility? Samia Yaba Nkrumah is targeting the Jomoro seat again. Remember, Samia Nkrumah is a former MP for Jomoro, 2008 to 2012, lost that election in 2012, and then tried to run for president.
And then became chairman of the party.
Yes. The BBC.com has outraged as the Gambia frees Jammeh's hitmen. You can read all of that on the BBC.com. We're going to take these important messages. We'll be right back.